Hi everyone, it's Jenna at Belvoir Bedford here. Thank you for joining us on this Friday, the 1st of October. So yeah, we're in a new month and we're edging ever closer to Christmas, but we won't go into that too much. I'm here with Will from FixFlow, who's kindly taken time out of his very, very busy week to have a chat with us just about the importance of reporting maintenance issues as a tenant. So hi Will, thank you very much for joining us today.
No worries, Jen. Thank you very much for having me. I suppose just to caveat this before we begin, but nothing that Jen or I say today, please don't take that as legal advice at all. Please consult a lawyer in that case. But yeah, really interested to kind of have a chat today, and thanks for inviting me on to this advice surgery.
No problem. You're very welcome. It's nice to have you. Right. So yeah, it's basically just to have a chat about maintenance. Obviously, maintenance is something that every tenant will deal with during their time living at a property. Obviously, and landlords too. It's a vital kind of part in terms of reporting it, making sure it's you notify either your landlord or letting agent, depending on obviously who's dealing with it. So we kind of we encourage our tenants to make sure they're reporting anything, even if you think it's a minor issue or something that can maybe wait to an inspection. Obviously, inspections can vary in kind of time in terms of the time in between them. So it's really, really important that you report it, as it may be something we can talk you through over the phone, or it might be something as simple, for example, like a light bulb change, something like a toilet seat that you can actually do yourself. So really, really important. So essentially, obviously, I'm here chatting with Will from FixFlow today, which is one of the variety of maintenance reporting portals that are out there for agents and landlords to utilise. So yeah, like I said, importance of reporting that, and what in terms of reporting it, what are the benefits for tenants? Obviously, working with an agent or landlord who's using the portal to report issues.
Yeah, for sure. So I suppose just a bit of background about, FixFlow is a repairs and maintenance management solution, essentially. But we have one really simple key goal, and that's to make the letting or rental process in regards to maintenance as simple and easy for all those involved. So agents, landlords, and of course, tenants as well. Some of the benefits of using FixFlow is it's just a really simple, easy online system to use to report your maintenance through to your agents. I think that's the key thing in the kind of world we live in now. We're all super busy, everything going on. Just the ease to be able to pick up your phone and report an issue there and then, and know that it's going to be with your agent in a matter of seconds. Is I suppose the key advantage from the tenant side.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's a quite pretty easy from the tenant side. So yeah, really good. In terms of maintenance in general, then obviously with the Fitness for Human Habitation Act, we actually obviously there's a timescale for dealing with certain types of emergencies, which on the portal you have the ability to grade them and make sure they're reported, in the right kind of priority order. So emergencies, we obviously need to be resolved within 24 hours. So that's things like leaks, obviously, your ceilings caved in, for example, something really, really serious that's obviously going to cause, damage to the property, or obviously, potentially a health and safety issue as well. Anything serious within 3 days. So again, it might be kind of a more minor leak, something like that. So that's within 3, and then anything routine within 28 days. So that's, like I said, routine maintenance, something to do. You might need something doing in your garden, or, just, a little bit of minor repair work to windows, bits and pieces and parts fit into boilers, that kind of thing. Something that's not going to, cause any health and safety issues or damage to the property, but still needs doing.
For
So
sure.
that's what we're kind of aiming for, and like I said, the portal does facilitate that, and obviously keeps the tenants and landlords updated for that during that
Yeah.
process.
I think
Um,
Jen, you've touched upon
Go
something
ahead.
really important. I think we've
Yeah.
got more and more kind of regulation being brought into the industry, which
Mm-hmm.
is great. It's there to protect landlords, protect tenants, and just, I suppose, really distinguish who's responsible for what. So I
Yeah.
suppose if we look back to the Deregulation Act in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
we're just able to clearly define what a tenant responsibility is and what
Mm-hmm.
the landlord's responsibility is as well.
Yeah.
But I think the key point you touched upon is just making sure you report issues as and when they crop up, because you don't know what they could turn into, or lean to more damage kind of further down the line. And ultimately, that's where it could become, as a tenant, our responsibility. I suppose I've been renting now for over 7 years, so I very much know on that side. But yeah, I think it's just key, as you say, to reiterate that message again. When you spot a problem, just report it through to your agent to protect both yourselves, the landlord, and everyone really.
Exactly. And in terms of, obviously, you mentioned the Deregulation Act, obviously it does require an audit to be kept of obviously
Of
anything
course.
that's reported and how it's dealt with as well. So how does FixFlow help with that as a portal?
Yeah, so FixFlow, essentially every action that's taken, be it from a tenant, a landlord, an agent, is time and date stamped really simply and easily, and clearly, I suppose. So it just means that being automatically done, if you need to go back in time and just clearly see who said what when, that audit trail is there for you. So it just, I suppose it just keeps everyone in check, and also more importantly, keeps everyone on the same page. They know what's happened in the past, and with all the regulation we've spoken about, what's expected of them, and we just really clearly help to see what's happened and to make sure that those pieces of legislation are being met ultimately.
Yeah, and again, that comes back to, obviously, if you report in a minor issue, you know, then it becomes another issue, or comes back, or it reappears later on. Obviously, you have that clear audit of when initially it was reported, so you can go back and be like, oh right, so a year ago this was at this stage, and maybe it's got a bit worse, and then you can keep the landlord posted and obviously get any repairs done necessary, which is great.
100%. I think it helps everyone, doesn't it? So as a tenant, they can see if something's breaking again and again and again, it's going to be getting resolved or as quickly as possible. And then if that thing does need replacing, you've got a washing machine, boiler, whatever it might be, you've got that kind of clear history of this keeps on happening. It'd be best for both parties to replace it in this case.
Yeah, for sure. So we just had a question. So someone's asked, why is it better reporting on this obviously portal than, say, just texting via WhatsApp, for example?
Yeah, for sure. I think the key for that is the centralization of the system. So if you text something in via WhatsApp, you may not be giving, firstly, all the information that's needed. So FixFlow even will clearly ask you a number of questions and allow you to really easily upload photos as well. And that just means that, say in this case, Jen's position, she has all the information that she needs there and then to be able to, say, gather quotes from contractors or anything like that. It helps to limit that back and forth, which between kind of agent or landlord and tenant, which ultimately just delays the process for everyone. Ensuring that you get all of that information at the first time, I suppose, is the key thing. And then the centralization, again, having that audit trail just benefits everyone involved in the repairs process, really.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. Yeah, and also, what if the tenants don't kind of speak English as their first language? Is there any facility for that at all?
For sure, yeah. FixFlow, I think don't test me at last count, I think it was 43 different languages through which you're able to report repairs on. So yeah, really catering to everyone.
Yeah, so obviously, if you're a landlord or an agent who has tenants who again don't speak English as their first language, then they're not going to be kind of in the dark and not going to be struggling to get those issues reported, which I think sometimes is also why tenants might delay, because they might find it easier speaking in person. So if they have the ability, obviously, which is great with FixFlow, to report it in their language, which obviously comes through to us in what English or whatever, then that's absolutely brilliant. So just just wondering really, obviously I'm guessing have quite a lot of properties that are on the system. How many maintenance issues on average per month are reported via the portal?
Yeah, of course. So I suppose just dialing it back then, at the last survey that was done, there was about 4.4 million rental properties in the UK. I think that was Statista back in 2020 was the most recent one. We've got over 1 million units on the FixFlow system, and on average, it's about 150,000 repairs we get reported through it every single month. And normally, on average, it's about 50 seconds to report an issue. So I suppose the simplicity just feeds into that. Those quite large numbers, really. But yeah.
It's quite, yeah. So on the back of, obviously, that's quite a lot of maintenance issues reported. How does the portal help with kind of turnaround time for repairs? Obviously, there's an element of this, the contractors dealing with it once it's got over to them. But how does FixFlow facilitate that?
For sure. Yeah, no, of course, our tenant advice surgery here, but FixFlow, we do have a contractor app. So we're all about just making all those parties involved, yourselves as the tenants, landlords, agents, contractors, just making it as seamless and simple and easy for everyone. So doing that, investing in the kind of use for all of those parties just helps to ensure that the issue is resolved as quickly as possible. And if we dial it back to, I suppose, what we were saying earlier, Jen, is, and originally getting all that information that you need means you're missing that back and forth. And again, that's going to happen throughout the process. So it's just ensuring that information is passed from one person to another as simple and easy as possible to ultimately ensure that that job is resolved as quickly as possible.
And again, it's all centralized, all on there, so you can see it. So you can see who said what when. Obviously, you can book appointments and all sorts. So then the tenant, again, is kept in contact and can access all their information, which is really good. So obviously, just kind of finishing up now. At the start, we, just kind of about the importance of obviously getting those reported. So, if you're renting through a landlord directly or through an agent and you're not sure what systems they use for reporting maintenance issues, maybe you've just moved in and you've not had to do one yet, you've not had to report anything, or you've lived there for a little while and you might have something that you need to report. It's really important to get in touch with your landlord letting agent and ask them. Obviously, there are, a variety of portals and other systems out there. So it's just making sure that you double check with your letting agent or landlord as to what they're using, because again, it's super important, to get those reported. As at the end of the day, obviously we've talked about deposits and things before. So that's another thing that when it comes to the end of the tenancy, if there's stuff that's not been reported or issues that have got worse, that you in the end, because you didn't report it, might be liable for. So really important to get those things reported.
Yeah, definitely. I think that should be one of the key things when you're moving. And of course, it will say in your tenancy agreement, but what the process is, as and when an issue does arise. I think, you've hit the nail on the head there, Jen. Just make sure you know whether that be emailing direct with your landlord or your agents responsible for that when it comes to repairs, ensuring the avenue. Of course, I hope it would be fixed flow, but the avenue that you'd be reporting that issue. But
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's brilliant. Key things to take away, I think, today are get the maintenance issues reported.
100%.
If you're not sure, ask. And obviously, and if you're not sure, again, obviously who's liable, just double check with your landlord or letting agent, or as you said, Will, check your tenancy agreement, because it'll more than likely stay in there. But yeah, so that's been really helpful. I think there's been some good key things to take away from that. So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate taking. I know you're a busy man,
No,
but
my
really
pleasure.
appreciate you chatting to me today. And I hope this has been helpful for all the tenants out there. Obviously, we run these on a monthly basis, and our next one will be at the end of this month. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Absolutely. That's great, Jen. Well, thank you
Take
very much.
care.
Have a good Friday.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.